Good evening. Alright, so if we're getting back to bug fixing, it's looking like let's see. Well, there's a few things. I need to get organized. So today is still Friday, but it's kind of not Friday. It's pretty much Saturday. So I can't do the business card stuff yet. So let's see. So disable controls moving around. I've got overhaul post-game stats. Yeah, it's more overhaul how team and user information gets to the UI. So, alright, why not just get started on that? So the first thing we want to do is the voting UI. So we got this voting stuff inside of the in-game screen. And we need to remove the selection styles for these things. Alright, so in-game generic vote yes. Vote no, selection. And what was going on with these things is basically while you're playing, this piece of UI would pop up with the selections going, and all of a sudden you'd actually start selecting buttons, which like it's funny when you're working on it. You're like, oh yeah, of course, this vote thing, and then you actually play it for 2 seconds, and you're like, ah shit, I hit the jump button, so I voted yes to ban myself. Whoops. So we'll get rid of that. Okay, so let's see. So we need to figure out how our team information is getting passed over to the UI. So, let's see what we got right now for everything. What we got right now for everything is bracket sack player stats, user touches, match stats. Yeah, it's this bracket sack team member stuff that we need to actually make work properly. So basically the issue is pretty much when we made our entire UI, we didn't do a very good job because we had to get the game shipped. And yeah. You can't even read any of that on this laptop? Sorry, Zafita. Yeah. Let me see. Well, I can read stuff on a 1920 by 1080 monitor. What do you want me to zoom in a little bit? I can probably work at about that level without killing myself. But my stream is about doing work. I can't, like, there's just a lot we have to do for the game, so I can't really make too many concessions with how big everything is. And I don't have 2 million overlays to switch between to do all that. So we need to get these teams. Yeah, we got this Brackensack game state. Okay, so let's see. Like, we already have game state information. We don't have all of this stuff, though. And I think we actually got rid of most of this trash, so that's fine. So why don't we have game members? So we'll have left team. Well, should we have them in left and right teams, or should we just have, well, here's all the members, and we'll have stats on them. Well, maybe have match info. Maybe this is what we should do, and we should have members. So we're going to need a game info, game member. Maybe I should just call it like Dashkin user and have like user information for that user. Alright, yeah, that's probably the right way to do this, is to make a user and then have like a members list which has ID, which has actual people in it, and then have other systems. Alright, so user ID, username. Our ping, we'll need our current team. Let's see, we have external type. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. Well, we should probably add an external types enum here. Well, it is a string, because our platform doesn't enforce it, so we probably shouldn't enforce it up here. External ID. And we'll have if it's a bot or not. Alright, so Dashkin user. And team. Does team belong here though? Like if it's just a user, we probably want to keep team out of it. Just like have this is user stats, and then we have kind of, yeah, alright. Set our, alright, so it will have game info, which will have members, which will have all the actual user information. And then we'll also have our left team and right team, and that'll just be an array of IDs. So in order to find a team, I'll just do it that way. So all the information on the users is in this thing. Alright, that's making sense to me. Do we have our events? No, it looks like we don't have our events. Okay, so what we want to do is want to get some of these events actually set up using the correct stuff. So we have left team score, right team score, ball reset, all these other things. Alright, so let's have user joined, and let's pass in a Dashkin user. And we're also going to need to know what team he's on, or she, or whatever it is. Should we pass the entire user? Yes, we also have game info updated, which will have the entire game info. Alright, this is starting to look a little bit better than what we had. So have user joined. I guess we should also have user left. Game info updated. Alright, yes, that'll have our... Alright, why don't we just change this to game players? Let's see. It's getting upset at something here. Yeah, it's going to be right here. So basically right now, how we've been hooking into our who is playing the game is we have this Brackensack team member thing and this like current Brackensack game state, which are pretty much it's a giant ball of crap. It doesn't work very well. It's real buggy. It's just not set up super well. So I'm just making a new system that I'll switch over to, which should have all the right information. And it's causing bugs such as when we finish a game, sometimes the wrong victory or defeat thing shows up because we don't actually know what team you're on. Alright, so we are going to need to start snagging stuff here. So we'll be able to get our game players. So while we're compiling, we're just skeletoning out all our stuff. So let me think. And I'm just going to be waiting even longer for compilation. Amazing. While we're waiting, let's go check the forums. Oh man, there's cheap dick pills on the forums again. Love it. If you're quick, you might be able to get some. But this guy's getting purged. Oh, it's gone. Can't get any more cheap deals. Sorry, guys. User has been banned. Alright, so let's see. This guy is saying... What's the response? I don't see... Like, why is... 823... Yeah. No new bugs reported. So I can deal with that. Okay, so we got that compiled. So where are our users right now? We've got, I think our game state has everything that... Let me just pull this up. I think I've got my documentation set up for some of this, so I should actually pull it up. Where is it's going to be? Is it level flow? I don't think so. I think that's our level flow, which is not the same thing. Is it multiplayer notes? We got our game life cycle here, and we're basically looking at the game state, which gets replicated. Server arch, is that it? No, it's not. Alright, so I think this is our only... We don't actually have a very good diagram for everything with the game life cycle. Just this one, it looks like. So just the game state is the thing that we replicate. So let's go see what we actually have in reality. Okay, so if we needed to fetch all the players at once, where do they exist? Like, we have all the player proxies, and the player proxies should have all the information to build the Dashkin users. Like, they know the members and the teams and everything else. That's fine. But let's see, so... we have our game mode. Alright, so it looks like most everything is on our game state. Brackensack game state. Where are you defined? Dashkin game data. So it's left, right, and then we have left team member. So it's the Brackensack game state that we currently have that we fetch. And it is not replicated, it is created. So how do I want to create this, the whole thing? I think basically we're going to construct our game players every time it gets requested. So other than that, we're going to be using event-based stuff. So the game state shouldn't have any of this information. It should just have a function which returns, like, get game players. And in order to construct that, I'm going to have it actually go ahead and query the game and fetch the actors and do that sort of stuff. So why don't we just make a new thing here? So this will be a U function, blueprint callable. We're going to be getting game players. So this is going to be get current game players. And we're also going to have another function which is going to be called get Dashkin user, and we'll pass the user ID. Oh no, the MySQL installer has popped up. That means Adam's probably back streaming. Because it's midnight. Alright, so we'll make a new players thing, and we'll return players after we... let's see. This shouldn't do this. It should return Boolean if we actually have it, and the output should be like that. So it'll return if it actually was able to find that user and fill out the information. I'm glad we have those. All right. Excellent. So for our game utils, basically, let's see, game state. Can I fucking spell game state? Am I that dumb? Alright, so get game players is gonna look like this. Alright, we'll do the same thing here. We'll just do it like that. So what we need to do is we need to get all player proxies. So I think our level utils already have that sort of thing. Yeah, we have these player proxy actors, so it'll be in the level utils. Alright, so what do we need out of this thing? We're going to need the user ID, username, all that crap. So what's in the player proxy? Okay, so for every one of these, we're going to make an Dashkin user. And let's do user. So user.userid equals actor, user ID, user.username, actor, username, user.ping, actor. Is there a ping here? No. There's not a ping. So how do we fetch the ping? So the external type is going to be this external type. Set there. User.external ID is going to be actor external ID. If it's a local player, all right. So user dot is local player. Alright, so basically it's going to be like if actor is local player and actor is bot. That's how we'll tell if you're the actual player. Let's see if it is correctly implemented. is bot and is actually bot. What the hell am I thinking? And we'll grab the team. So add these guys to their proper teams. And then we need to add the actual user. So how are we going to get this ping? Alright, well, this might also be some place where we want to implement actually getting the ping proper. So what we could do is add another U property here, which is the ping. And actually have a few things use this. So why don't we actually fix this, and then maybe people stop bitching about, why can't I see the ping on this user? So I have the ping there, and what actually does use pings? It's the... Like, I know the player state has pings. So if we're on the server and we're updating a player state, do we have a tick for the player state? Update ping. We could go ahead and add a tick function here. Is this ever actually called? It doesn't look like it's ever actually called. Alright, so I think we should add a tick here and then add like a refresh time. For the ping, so we'll snag the new one every so often and push that down. So it's basically going to be, if it has authority, then it's going to tick. Alright, so we need to go to something that ticks. Alright, and for our player state, let's also have a last updated sort of thing. Okay, I think, okay, this update ping is called somehow. Let me look up the a player state Unreal. I receive pings updates for the client, both client side and server side, from the NetDriver. Note this updates much more frequently client side, thus the client side ping will often be different to what the server displays. Okay, so maybe we just have if has authority. We set all this stuff up here. I mean, it's going to be called from the NetDriver. And it's only going to be called... Okay, so if it's called on the server, it's going to be called for everybody. It's not going to be called super often, so we probably don't need this tick at all. We can just do everything inside of this. All right. Okay, so we'll set this thing. So supposedly our net stats should be getting updated, but I guess they're not for some goddamn reason. This updates much more frequently client side. Well, okay, so basically what we're going to do is set the ping on the player proxy actor, because that's what we want. And I should replicate down there and do the thing. Alright, so I'll update our ping, which should replicate to everybody. This should be run on the client and the server, and that should do our thing. Okay, so that should actually fill out our entire team list properly. So the question now is, I think it's for our player proxy actors. We have like our begin play. Announce to game state. We have it right there. Announcing change for user. Team blah 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 blah. On player added. Player join event. So we're actually going to, since we have our events here, we'll start using them. And our event is user joined. So we need to make a new user out of this. So maybe what we should do is have on our player proxy, we should have a create user function. So that basically it would be just like, we'll have a user here and we'll say actor get user data, pass in a user, and it'll work like that. So we need a get user. This is f dashkin user out user. And let's go ahead and add this to our player proxy actor. So that should snag our user data for us. And we need a team, so it's going to be EBS. Where is the team? EBS teams. Team. So that pretty much should give us our player joined. Do we have unplayer removed? Yeah, so game state, it's not null. So we'll want to do the same thing here. And I'm going to have to remove things, but I'm going to support both these systems right now, for now. And I'll be removing them when I switch over entirely. Alright, so Maybe I should also have a function here for get UI team. Then I'd have to include that. Oh, we'll just keep it as it is. Alright, so this is going to be user left. I don't even think we're using the user join and user left stuff. Like, we were just, yeah. I think we were faking it by checking if they were already in our user list or something and then throwing it up there. So what is this getting pissed about? Kind of bad namespace? Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's funny seeing people who are on Mac asking like, I got a free code, but I'm on Mac, I want to play. And it's like, well, like if you look at the percentage of people that actually game on Mac, especially with like the Steam stats, it's like nobody. Same thing for Linux. So there's a very vocal minority of people who are like, oh, you know, it's not on Mac, so I'm not going to play it. It's like, well, pretty much the market is so small with you guys that it's not worth doing. It's not worth it. It's not worth porting it. Like, if I'm going to port the game somewhere, it sure as hell isn't going to be to Mac. It's going to be to, like, Switch or Xbox or some shit. Like, there's not enough people on Mac. Okay, so get current game players function must return a value. Should have been a continue. I guess maybe I just hate Mac users. That's also possible. Well, just waiting for compiling. There it goes. User ID is undeclared. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, he's non-centered at the pause screen. Once we got this stuff rolling along here, we can start actually using it. Alright, so we have our user left and our user join stuff now working. So what we want to do is, I want to start using it. So let's go into our widgets and start actually using it. Makes sense, right? Alright, so player announce widget. Well, where is this even in existence? Yeah, for in-game. I guess we should also have it up there. This thing should pretty much be in everything.